Hello, it's Hristi Wilbur here with the 7th drawing project on 𝐄𝐒𝐏𝐀ញand the Optical Illusions. This time our project is inspired by Victor Vasarely. So this is a little piece of one of his optical illusions. So let's get going. I'm gonna do my 8x8 first, of course. They're all the same size, all the 8 projects that I'm gonna do. That's my workspace. Okay. So this one is a little different because it's usually we kind of start from the middle and grow from there, but this is gonna be kind of more freestyling here. So I'm gonna start from about right here and do the top plane. So this is this little area here that I'm going to start with. Next, I'm going to extend from here this little area. It should be pretty much the same space. So whatever I have here, I'll pretty much try to have something similar here. Here we go down in perspective. So I'm gonna try to do all my lines going down. They should kind of go down in the same direction. 3, 4, 5. And around here I'm gonna stop this one, so we're gonna create something like a cube right here. There's gonna be a cube right here, and here we go down and extend this part. Oh, my design is getting way bigger than the other one. That's fine though. Yeah, we need this line. Here, we're gonna stop around here. And we're gonna have one more cube. It's actually a rectangle, it's not a cube. This is a rectangle. And we're gonna stop the whole thing around here. This should go this way in perspective. I'll extend a little bit this line and extend this line too. Okay, so that's pretty much the basic outline of my design. Next step will be to kind of slice everything in little squares. So this space I'm gonna slice in 3. This space I'm gonna slice in 3. If you have done the other cubes in my previous videos, you'll already know how to do that part. I'm gonna slice this in 3. Here we're gonna slice in 3. So we have all kinds of different planes going in this direction, changing direction. And we're gonna try to create the illusion of space. And here, we're gonna try to slice this in 3. And this space in 3. They're not very goodly. We'll figure this out later. We're gonna clean everything up. So here, because this shape turned to be quite different than this one, I will do only 2, 3, 4. I will make 3 lines here, so that's how this one is gonna look. Okay, here in 3. And here this space is gonna be cut in 3. Okay, so one of our elements is ready. And now we're gonna start with the other one. Here the same thing, we're gonna cut in 3. Here it's going down this way. So I'll try to make these spaces 3, 4, 5. Okay. Just try more or less to have the spacing right. So all these little squares that are created are equal. And I'll go down, connecting these lines. This line should be a little better, more straight. Okay, and how many we can fit here? So we do 1, 2. So we have these three lines of squares here. And we have 1, 2, 3, pretty much. Okay. It's kind of tricky because it depends how big your spaces are. You might have completely different number of squares, but I'm trying to make at least the top ones 3, 3, 3. Okay, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have the whole design ready. And I'm gonna start the coloring part of the project. Actually the shading part. So there is gonna be one area with the darkest squares. So we're gonna do these 3. Again, we're practicing gradation here, just in different format. This is gonna be very dark. This is gonna be pretty dark, not pure black, but kind of dark. And these 3 are gonna be dark. And this is gonna be pretty dark. And here's pretty dark. Okay, the whole shading is gonna start like this. Let me start with this little area here. So the logic is that as soon as you have these squares that are really, really dark, you just press as hard as you can with your pencil. So as soon as that's my darkest square, right here, these neighboring two squares are gonna be the next level in value, which means they're gonna be slightly lighter. So they're gonna be still pretty dark, but they're not gonna go, I'm not gonna go to black there. I'm gonna go with some very kind of dark gray here. Next, these three are gonna be the next level of value. 1, 2, 3. They're gonna be slightly lighter than these two. And the rest, these three are gonna be pretty light gray. And that's how we're gonna proceed with all the other areas. So I want to tell you a few things about Victor Vasarely, because he's a very important figure in the op art movement. He's called the father or the grandfather in some books of optical illusion. He's from Hungary. He was originally born in Hungary, and he went to medical school first. In his early years of studying in college, he went to a medical school, but sure after he decided that that's not for him, and he switched majors and started working on art. He was working mostly in the field of graphic design and advertising. You can imagine that advertising at that time, in the 1930s, when he first started working in the field of graphic design, people didn't have computers, so it was completely different thing. Artists had completely different role then, because a lot of the things, most of the things were handmade, or even the printing was not what we know now as printing. So he was working in the field of graphic design and advertising, and where he was originally studying in Hungary, they were very influenced by the movement Bauhaus. Maybe you have heard of Bauhaus. This extremely influential movement in Europe. It was all about functionality, kind of German practicism, and it was all about simplifying design as much as possible. And it was kind of the opposite of Art Deco. Art Deco was all about detail, about elaborate ornaments and stuff, and Bauhaus is completely opposite of it. In architecture, in ceramics, in metalwork, all these movements with their completely opposite aesthetic ideas were going through Europe then, when Victor Vasarely was in school in the very beginning of the 20th century. So in about 1930s, Victor Vasarely went to Paris. Of course, that was the center of culture and design and everything, cutting edge at this point. And he went there, and when he was very young, so he was born 1906, so in 1930, so he was very young adult when he came up with the first optical illusion, considered the first optical illusion painting, which is called Zebra. And he did that in 1930. But it was a long way before he really kind of narrowed down and started working mostly on optical illusions. There were a lot of years of trial and error. He went through a lot of experimentations with cubism and futurism and expressionism before he actually landed in this very significant op art style when he was creating these purely geometric optical illusions. And he had a lot of years working purely in black and white, but after that he decided that he would add color to his works. So here's something not quite right. So anyways, I just wanted to introduce you to one very important artist in the op art movement, and it all starts from there, from Vasarely's experiments in optical illusion. And in about 1930s, 1950s and 1960s, his style really crystallized the way we know it. But it took him, like I told you, many years of experimentation before that happened. So Vasarely is very important op art artist, but the one op art artist that I have the most admiration for is MC Escher. I think that's one of the most genius minds in art ever. Just his tessellations and his architectural puzzles, visual puzzles, are something that is quite unique and one of a kind. Absolutely one of a kind. He was graphic designer too, so it's very interesting that they both started from the area of design and very early advertising. So here, that's what I'm doing, exactly the same. I'm starting this corner pretty dark and I'm going lighter and lighter and lighter. And I'm gonna leave these three pure white. Okay, and I'm gonna do only this side a little bit, and just because I don't want this video to be too long, and you already see how to build this project. Maybe in the future I'm gonna make a video specifically on tessellation, because I love making tessellations, and I found somewhere, I forgot where it was, but I found the easiest way to make tessellation, and I think it's gonna be really nice to share with you this technique so you can make one. So this should be pretty dark here. And because I have one more here, I'll go with the really dark in this way and up here and down. I didn't use my little extra paper. Here's getting a little messy. So these are the really dark ones and the mediums. If you Google Victor Vasarely, you're gonna see a lot of his optical illusion works. He became one of the most influential modern art artists. And his works are in the biggest museums of the world, no matter which, especially MoMA and all these other Guggenheim, MoMA, all the contemporary art museums. You're gonna see a lot of his work. Here is very important again, like we talked before with the cubes, to darken up a little bit here. In this one we don't specifically have only one source of light. It's very interesting because the light kind of comes from everywhere. And we'll just assume that the dark, we have just few spots where the dark kind of spills from there. And that's how you continue the rest. Okay, now I just want to make really fast my 𝐄𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐿 Haring person. He's kind of running up. I like him to kind of run up this kind of structure made out of cubes. So he's running. Oops, it's a little too much to get here. I'll cut it out. Next video is gonna be the very last video of this series, and I'm gonna cut out all my squares and I'll show you all of them together. Maybe they're not gonna be kind of going in the order that we made the videos and I made them, but we'll see what's gonna work best. I just want to make one big kind of poster thing with all of them. Okay, my strong Sharpie line. Okay. And that's one thing I forgot. My scissors are on the other side. And I'll definitely darken up the Sharpie line later. Just don't want to waste time with that. Okay, and the 𝐄𝐿 Haring person is running up, or he's running out. Who knows? Oh, that's kind of scary. Looks like this whole thing is gonna fall on him. It's all about context. It's so interesting. No matter where you put the person, if you change the place, it all shifts. The whole concept shifts. Okay, I like him running up. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.